Do you ever wonder why people ignore undeniable truths, even when the facts slap them in the face? Why do politicians make decisions that seem so obviously disastrous? Why does society, time and time again, walk straight into the fire of its own destruction? These aren't just random questions. They are the very patterns that shape history. And if you've ever asked yourself how entire populations can be manipulated into blindness, then what you're about to discover will change the way you see the world forever. One man who deeply explored this enigma was Dietrich Bonhoeffer, an intellectual powerhouse, theologian, and resistance fighter who lived through Nazi Germany. But Bonhoeffer didn't just see stupidity as a lack of intelligence. No, he saw it as something far more insidious, a force more dangerous than evil itself. And today, his chilling observations are more relevant than ever. In 1943, while imprisoned for opposing the Nazi regime, Bonhoeffer asked a disturbing question. How did Germany, a nation of brilliant minds, poets, philosophers, and scientists, descend into a culture of blind obedience and moral decay? His answer: stupidity is not just ignorance. It is a social and psychological weapon, a phenomenon fueled by power, fear, and mass influence. And here's where it gets terrifying. Stupidity thrives not in isolation, but in groups. It emerges when individuals surrender their ability to think critically, trading their independence for the security of the herd. Have you noticed how easily people parrot absurd political slogans? How fake news spreads like wildfire? How entire populations fall for the same manipulative tactics decade after decade? This isn't coincidence. It's a playbook. The mechanisms Bonhoeffer described weren't just philosophical musings. Decades later, psychological research would confirm his theories with disturbing accuracy. Take the Asch conformity experiment of 1951. Social psychologist Solomon Asch set up a study where participants were asked to compare the lengths of different lines. The catch: most of the participants were secretly actors, instructed to give blatantly wrong answers. The result: 75% of the real participants conformed to the obviously false answer at least once. Think about that. 3 out of 4 people willingly ignored the evidence before their eyes, just to fit in. Now, amplify that effect across an entire society. Imagine what happens when mass media, political propaganda, and social pressure all reinforce the same false narrative. Suddenly, you're not just fighting misinformation, you're battling an entire psychological phenomenon that suppresses independent thought. And here's the real kicker: the more powerful an authority figure is, the more susceptible people become to stupidity. Bonhoeffer made a chilling observation. The more power a person or system holds, the less critically people think. This explains why authoritarian regimes, cults, and even manipulative corporations thrive on manufactured stupidity. They don't need to convince people with logic. They just need to create a system where questioning authority feels dangerous or unnecessary. The moment people stop thinking for themselves, whether out of fear, convenience, or blind loyalty, the game is over. They become pawns, incapable of seeing their own manipulation. That's why stupidity isn't just an individual flaw. It's a collective disease. And it's far deadlier than malice, because while evil can be confronted, stupidity refuses to engage. It doesn't argue. It doesn't question. It simply obeys. So, what's the solution? How do we fight a force that resists reason itself? Bonhoeffer believed that intelligence alone isn't enough. The real antidote to stupidity is courage. Develop critical thinking. Question everything. Don't accept information at face value. Analyze it, cross-check sources, and seek out uncomfortable truths. Resist herd mentality. Understand that just because a majority believes something doesn't make it true. Conformity is a trap. Take responsibility. Stupidity thrives when people pass the burden of thinking onto others. Make your own decisions based on logic, not emotion. Challenge authority. Just because a figure or institution is powerful doesn't mean it's right. True intelligence comes from standing firm, even when the crowd turns against you. The battle against stupidity isn't easy, but it is necessary, and it starts with you. If you found this insight valuable, don't just walk away unchanged. This is the kind of knowledge that separates leaders from followers. So, take action. Subscribe for more deep psychological breakdowns, like the video to support this kind of content, and most importantly, drop a comment below. What's the biggest example of mass stupidity you've seen in today's world? Let's expose it together, because intelligence isn't just about knowing. It's about acting. Stay sharp, stay aware, and never let the system think for you.